embarrassing someone. Any of you who have ever listened to any of my YouTube audios, I'll call them YouTube audios, but they're my audios, which I post on YouTube. And by the way, I created a Patreon account, so go there right now and donate. I need money. But anyone who listens to anything I do, you know my method. And some of you have been sitting in my living room co-creating that method. I've had a couple of friends over the years. We sit here and we'll go on for 40 minutes ad lib. Instruments might or might not be involved, and back and forth conversations might or might not be involved, but there is no script. there's nothing's written down anywhere. There are no cue cards. It's what's in your mind and what are you going to drag out of your mind right now. And I accidentally discovered it. And maybe, it's fool's gold. Maybe it's worth nothing, but I like the way it works. You get somebody at their rawest. There's no prep. You get to hear what they're really thinking, second by second, millisecond by millisecond. And and you can kind of map out a course in your mind within a few seconds about where you want to generally take something. And I think most of my mapping is fairly innocuous. Sometimes it gets a little nasty and mean, but I actually do try not to go in those directions. But life has certain realities, and you bounce off of them now and then. You got what are you going to do? Ignore that? I'll hit that. All right, I'm not going to say anything. I won't tell anybody. No. Yeah, but so I say what I'm thinking, and even if I've been drinking or doing other things to enhance the creative process, I'm okay with whatever comes out. If I weren't, I sure wouldn't be posting it on YouTube now, would I? And so, but it makes me wonder. I say what I think. It's my perspective on the world, and sometimes I do get too drunk, and I say things that may not be fairly representative of reality. But I don't think I get too far off the mark most of the time. Now, of course, this is the narcissist, the ultimate narcissistic, self-indulgent spew here. I'm telling you what I think, as if you should give a shit. Well, I would say this. I would say, don't we all have that? Don't we all have that inside of us? Don't we want everybody to think, oh, listen to me. I'm so wise. I know everything. Sit down and shut up and listen. So I don't know where I come across on that scale. You know, everything has a scale, right? We'd use the 1 to 10 scale. I've had friends say that I'm a 20 on narcissism. But I just say, hey, I'm just saying what I think. You can listen to it, or you can't listen, or you don't listen to it, you know? So I don't know. Where do we go from here? Seems like a mess to me. We've got a world that's swirling around the drain right now. Violence, hatred, Democrats versus Republicans, and the whole political thing that's just gotten totally out of hand. They all hate each other over there. It seems like it from this, you know, from where I'm sitting. Seems like they, you know, when you start trying to put your political opposition in jail, it doesn't seem like a good thing. And it's surely can't be good for the country. They're not being role models, you know, like the role models we all were told about when we were kids. You know, be a role model. You know, do the right thing. Of course, nobody ever said, "Well, here's the manual on the right thing." They did act it out. Life's been a back and forth series of victories and failures, of joyous celebrations and disappointments for me. I've met some of the greatest people in the world, and I've met some of the worst people in the world. And I haven't even been to Washington, D.C. I think that's where they keep the latter category. Contingent. So I guess it's up to us, folks. What are we going to do about this mess? And we may be able to do nothing. You know, I started off this message thinking had something I wanted to say, and now I've just kind of depressed myself. I feel bad. I want to go cry somewhere in a corner. I've done that too many times. I've been retired now for about 6 years, and I watch all the congressional hearings, and I've realized we're being run by a bunch of the dumbest motherfuckers that have ever walked the planet. And guess how they got there? Guess how they got there? You and I voted for them. Now, they're not all that way, but holy shit. I'm not even going to name names. You probably have a few names in mind, depending on whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. And I was Democrat by default, you know, being a teacher for almost 30 years. So I just, you know, voted the ticket. Never really thought about it. Never took the time to read anything and inform myself. And I think that's what happened to our country. I think that's what happened to our country by default. Party by default. You know, you're a teacher, or you're black, or you're Hispanic. Now, I'm not saying any one of those classes is not attempting to inform themselves, but actually, I think they are not attempting to inform themselves, and they just vote for whoever's going to give them the most. So, and I'm definitely not a Republican, having been a Democrat by default for 30 years. But for 5 or 6 years now, I've been watching all the Senate hearings and watching the Supreme Court whenever, or listening to it whenever you get some clips. And holy shit, what a mess. What a fucking mess. And they got lawyers. Reminds me of that song. Lawyers. I can't remember how it goes, but got a bunch of lawyers in there. I took the California LSAT after I came home from a summer in Mexico, and I scored in the 75th percentile, which is not good, really. I mean, you really don't want people that score that low to become lawyers. So California has some smart lawyers, I guess. I don't know. But apparently in other states, you don't have to have any skills at all to be a lawyer. I mean, look at some of these people in Congress. Look at Richard Blumenthal. I mean, you talk about the dumbest motherfucker that's ever walked the planet. That guy is an idiot, and he has a law degree. So I don't know if you can, you get mail-in law degrees back there. I mean, just to pick him out for one. Could pick on a few other people, but he stands out in my mind as the dumbest fucking person that's ever been elected to Congress, except for maybe Mazie Hirono. I mean, she's clearly, if she weren't in Congress, she'd be in a home for the stupid. Jesus. These people are running our world. They're making decisions about what affects us. So that's the way it goes. We elected them. We did it. We put them in there to run our world. And look at the world now. It's a mess. That's all. I don't have much more to say about this. I'm going to throw a part 2 in, though, because I wandered off topic in a couple different directions. And this is actually a fairly important concept that will affect our children. I don't have any biologically, but I have about 10,000 that I care about and that I've known personally through teaching. So I think I have an interest. And thus I get a little madder than most when I see these DC politicians do things that will harm the future of our children.